Today on Common Man Cocktails, we're cooking? Welcome to Common Man Cocktails, I'm Derek, and today we're going to make a hot toddy. It's called the Apple Cider Toddy. We partnered with the folks over at Niche Imports to bring you a cocktail with Barenjager honey liqueur and Barenjager honey and bourbon. So, let's just break this down. This is the most complicated hot toddy recipe we'll be doing for Hot Toddy Tuesdays, because Hot Toddy Tuesdays ends with this. And it's really not that complicated, it just requires some use of heat. So the recipe is going to be 5 ounces of apple cider, 2 cinnamon sticks, 2 Star Anise, 4 cloves, 2.5 ounces of Barenjager honey bourbon, 1/4 ounce of Barenjager honey liqueur, and 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. And you're probably like, Derek, what is going on over here? We have never seen this that I can recall. This is just a heating element so I can warm this up on camera. It's smaller. I don't have to bring it in my kitchen. What we're going to do in a saucepan is combine our apple cider, our cinnamon, our Star Anise, and our cloves all together. And that infusion, that heat, is going to give the flavor to this drink. We're going to bring that to a boil. We're going to remove it from the heat, cover with a lid. Then we're going to allow the spices to steep for 10 to 15 minutes. So sure, you got to make this a little bit ahead of time. Not a big deal. I'll time lapse through it. Strain your spices, add in your liqueurs, add in your honey bourbon, add in your lemon juice, and then as your ingredients that you can kind of stuff in there, sliced apples, sliced lemons, cinnamon sticks, Star Anise, that type of stuff. I don't have any sliced apples specifically, but apples, the sliced apple portion is going to be more for something that you can probably chew on and use as a garnish. It's not going to add a lot of flavor to the drink or aroma, as sliced apples don't exude tons of apple aroma. That night, I forgot them. I don't have any. If I would have remembered to get apples, I would get apples, but I didn't. So let's start with our cider, because we got to get this rolling to a boil. Apple cider. 1 cinnamon stick we're going to throw in here. The other one we're going to use as our garnish. 4 cloves. Don't get crazy here. If you're not into big clove flavor, just do like 1 or 2. But they could be very prominent. 1 Star Anise is going to go in. 1 Star Anise is going to float. It's called a garnish. And this is going to give you that black licorice, that fennel, that medicinal kind of quality to it. Now we need to learn how to work this little thing here. Let's say turn on. Okay, new plan. Bigger pot. Apparently you can't do that convection thing if you don't make enough contact or something. Well, then we'll just bring that to a boil. It's really not a lot in there, but it's getting the temperature, so it's better than microwaving it.
11 minutes later.
After I heated it up with the large pot, I put it back in the small pot so that it would steep better, so that all the herbs and all the spices would infuse better. Alright, now we're going to add that to our glass, which has been warming up for us. Use hot water when you're making hot drinks. That way your glass stays warm and this isn't going to get chilled out. We'll strain out all the big parts. Which really means just capturing all these big guys. Really all you're doing is catching those cloves. Let's start, we'll add our 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. 2.5 ounces of the Barenjager honey and bourbon. 1/4 ounce of Barenjager. And if you'd like a sweeter hot toddy, add a little bit more of the honey. I'm also going to add a little bit of a lemon slice to it to give it a little bit of a garnish, but also a little bit of an aroma, but also a little bit more flavor. Cinnamon stick. 1 or 2, however many you really want. Star Anise. That looks good. If you had apples, stuff that in there. You could just keep jamming this thing in with all kinds of fruit. It's like the Pim's cup for winter drinks. Let's give this thing a taste. It's got a lot of apple flavor to it. If you're going to let it steep for a little bit, bring it back up to temperature again, because it's getting a little cold really fast. If you'd like your drinks a lot hotter, I suggest bring that up to temperature, let it boil, let it steep, take the ingredients out if you want, or leave them back in if you feel like it, and turn it back up to temperature and bring it back up to that boiling, then pour it in here. That way when you bring all the rest of the ingredients in, it'll be hotter. Apple, honey, a little bit of like a whiskey bite to it at the finish. The cloves are not overdone, which is nice, because that's the biggest fear to worry about is oversteeping your cloves. This has a little bit more of that, like the Angostura bitter type clove profile to it, where it's there. You know there's that dynamic flavor, but it's not overused. It's not overcloved. If you like overcloved, that's fine. Just add more cloves to it. And the Star Anise actually doesn't bring that much of a medicinal flavor, which is another thing I was worried about, is that there was just going to be a little too much black licorice. The aroma from that garnish really brings it out, but it doesn't steep too deep into it and become overdone. Barenjager honey bourbon is 51% bourbon and 49% honey. In this case, we brought a little bit of extra honey to it. Maybe it's closer to 50-50 if you like science. I don't know. If you needed more information on the Barenjager products, don't forget to check out barenjagerhoney.com. Barenjager Honey and Bourbon was launched in 2012 by Schwarz and Schlichter. So if you're looking for a product that has been brought to the United States, it's in select areas, and you're a huge fan of just the Barenjager Honey products to begin with, this just gives you a little bit more versatility to it. Of course, summertime, you can use your Barenjager Honey with your tiki drinks if you don't want to make your own honey syrup, and you're going to get that nice honey flavor and an amped up kick. But I find that the honey bourbon flavor definitely plays. It just makes me think winter. I'm a big fan of bourbon in the wintertime. I don't drink bourbon too much in the summertime, but a whiskey sour never hurt. So there you go. Go make yourself a new hot toddy variation, the apple cider toddy. You want another variation? Check the playlist on the sidebar. Chamomile hot toddies, regular hot toddies, Earl Grey hot toddies. It's all right there for you in the playlist. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. We're teaching you how to drink.